we have Congressman Jim Hagedorn with us. Congressman Hagedorn is a true champion. Congressman, thank you for joining us. I'll be back on stage with you in a second. Thank you, sir.
Wow, thank you for that. It's an honor to be with you. What a great crowd. What an awesome event. Thanks to the folks here to put it all together. And in 18, I was one of only 2 Republicans in the whole country to take back a Democrat seat. The other was that good friend of mine, Pete Stauber, up in northern Minnesota. You bet. So Pete and I, we overperformed, and we're going to overperform again, even though the Democrats, I think, Minnesota, we have 100,000 jobs, direct and indirect, tied to medical care, if you can believe that. The world-famous Mayo Clinic is there, fine rural hospitals. So I'd just like to briefly talk with you about what the Democrats are peddling in this area and the changes that we have that are going to be good and how it can affect the American people and our way of life. And I want to do that from the perspective of somebody who represents the preeminent institution of medicine and these fine rural hospitals, and also somebody who is a patient, a stage 4 kidney cancer patient right now. And I got to tell you that a lot of people talk about Obamacare, right? That's come up a lot, Supreme Court. But don't ever forget, in Minnesota, we didn't need Obamacare. We had 94% of the people covered with a system in place, a high-risk pool for people with pre-existing conditions. All Obamacare did is come in and drive down competition. There isn't that anymore, and drive up premiums. And also, of course, those deductibles that you pay, making insurance virtually worthless. But now what the Democrats want to do under Dan Feehan, Nancy Pelosi, you name it, right, whoever it is really sinister. My opponent supports something called public option, and what public option means is you're going to make sure there are more people available for Medicare. That means less people on private insurance, more people on public insurance. And for our rural hospitals, half of them will go broke. What that means in a district like mine, where you have the #1 critical access rural hospital in New Ulm, is no more timely quality medicine in that area. People have to drive longer distances. That can be life or death decisions. And they lose their best jobs, they lose their economy. It's a disaster. For Mayo Clinic, what the Democrats have in store for them, unfortunately, is even more sinister. Medicare for all, single payer. We get to a point where the model of medicine is undercut completely. The reimbursements are down. The government tells the clinic who they can see and when and what conditions. And in that area, and I've been trying to tell folks in this election, it means those jobs, those small businesses, the people coming in there, they go away. We destroy our economy. In addition to this, of course, longer wait times. All the things you get with socialized medicine. And what can that mean? Well, we saw some of that when Governor Walz shut down the hospitals in Minnesota. And during that period of time across the country, diagnosis for cancer was off 46%. And the problem with that is, if you don't get in and see the doc, and I can attest to this, and get treatment as quickly as possible, it can be life or death. My doctor told me if I hadn't been diagnosed and started treatment within a 2-month period, I wouldn't be with you today. I'd be dead. And that was just 20 months ago. And this can happen. In the socialist countries, thanks. I'm actually doing quite well. The immunotherapy is fantastic. And I haven't missed a vote in Congress due to illness. Just keep working. We keep fighting. But I'm very fortunate. Healing hands of God in the Mayo Clinic, keeping me going. But what but what can happen for other people is that in socialized countries, it takes weeks and months to get diagnosed and get care. Here, it's days and weeks. That's a whole difference. And that's what the Democrats have in store for us. That's how our lives are on the line. That's how our way of life can be on the line in these places. And as conservatives, it doesn't get talked about enough. High-risk pools for people with expensive medical conditions like myself, so everybody gets care and nobody goes broke. We can have price transparency so people come in and they know what it's going to cost to go to the doctor before you go. For an MRI and things like that, you can shop for care. Let's go out and apply them. This is what we stand for. We're for the people. The Democrats, unfortunately, are not. And we're going to take this and continue to do this in the next Congress and fight for the American people. Thanks very much.